Here's a summary of this debate, and it's the easiest one in the world. Lower taxes, deregulation. Obama is the worst. Everything he's ever done should be immediately repealed.
Hillary Clinton's worse than him, though.
The only person who might be worse is Hillary Clinton. That's still up for debate. And then we're going to look to the future, and we're going to make America great again by making sure that all the corporations get everything they want. I mean, small businesses and the American people. That's what I meant. That's what I meant. And that's the whole debate. Okay, they just said it over and over and over again until we were bleeding from the ear.
We also need no-fly zones and fewer pieces of paper.
Oh, that's true. That's very true.
It.
Okay.
Yeah, tax code, too complicated, can't read it, 3 pages max, that's it.
America needs to be very strong militarily. That's what I learned. Because apparently we're pushovers. We just don't do enough military in America.
And remember, there are good countries and there are bad countries.
Ah, yes.
And we want to be one of the good countries that defends the good countries.
Hey, you're getting too complicated here. Simplify it for me.
Okay.
Come on.
Now, I met a good country one time. We both, good countries, we did 60 Minutes with some good countries.
I knew a good country. He knows me really well. Okay, and I negotiated with him and kicked his ass. Okay, so finally, the other 3 points we learned in this debate are philosophers are evil.
And philosopher kings.
Okay, seriously, I've never heard so much anti-philosopher talk in my life. I mean, they decided to go on the warpath against philosophy.
Why do these people want to think for a living? How dare they?
3 or 4 different candidates were like, let me tell you about the fucking philosophers.
And then he's like, welder.
Welders
It's like that commercial where for General Electric, the guy goes, "You can't pick up the hammer, can you, kid?" That's like that. That's what they're doing. Philosopher, pick up this hammer. You can't pick it up.
Do they think the philosophers are like bearded hippies or something? Philosophers, at least as often, are super right-wing. There are Christian philosophers. There are conservative philosophers.
Like
Ayn Rand was a philosopher.
Right, exactly.
It's ridiculous.
So the other thing I learned is that voids are filled. A couple of things are filled, but definitely voids.
Voids get filled.
Okay, and finally, as these guys were alluding to, less pages is always better. Always better. You don't want a lot of pages. That's a lot of reading. We don't like reading. Okay, give me 3 pages or less for every bill, and then everything will be solved. Then we'll look into the future. We'll rebuild our families, and we won't let that bitch Hillary Clinton win. I rest my case.
I like that we learned a little bit about history. Apparently, before 1903, people had houses.
People had houses. That was before
houses.
the deductions for mortgages.
You know what that sounds like? It sounds like one of those idiots who's like, cavemen ate dirt and they were fine. No, they weren't. They died by the time they were 21, right?
Yeah.
Like, we had houses in 1903. You're right, we had some houses. We have a lot more now.
Yeah.
Right?
So to make a serious point about the arguments that they made, they keep talking about a time in America that no longer exists, right, to make their arguments. So first of all, you have Ted Cruz talking about how his family came to the United States legally from Cuba. Here's the thing. All Cubans come into the United States legally. They have amnesty. All they have to do is come into the country, not break any laws for 1 year, and boom, they're citizens. That's the law for Cubans. So I don't care about your family story. It's very different from Mexican immigrants or immigrants from any other country. So there's that. Another thing is, I don't give a shit about houses in 1903, okay? I have a great paying job, all right? I work really, really hard. I'm educated. I played by the rules. You want to know what I can afford? Dick, okay? The housing market is unattainable for people like me, and I have a great job that pays me well.
Where do you
Simple.
work?
Right? I write for Raw
No, you're
Story.
totally right.
She's a philosopher.
Right.
They get all the big bucks.
So Marco Rubio, toward the end of the debate, talked about how Washington is out of touch. Yeah, you're part of that. You're out of touch, okay? Again, I don't care about your bartender father and your Cuban mother and how they work their way to the top. Those opportunities are no longer available to people in my generation because of policies that they're pushing. So shut the fuck up.
Yeah, and so I want to reemphasize, Anna's the first person, for whatever reason, that I heard make this point, and it's such a good one. So you have 2 Cuban Americans running for president on the Republican side, Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz, and they keep saying, especially Ted Cruz, oh, the immigrants, we shouldn't let them in. We have to have rules. You have to do it legally like we did. No, but wait a minute. Cubans get to come into the country without any documents, without any rules, right? They're the sole exception to the rules, which is, well, if you're Cuban because you live under Castro, just come on, and you're politically powerful in this country, just come on in. You don't need any papers. And then they turn around and to everybody else, to other Latinos, and go, where are your papers? Where are your papers? Oh, you're undocumented.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, how fucking dare you?
I know.
And historically, the idea that, well, you just do it legally. You just go on the internet and then you apply, as if we allow in the same number of people from every region of the world, as if historically that's what we've always done, when instead we have used legislation to shape what sorts of immigration we actually allow. Certain parts of the world, just let everybody in. Other parts, it's virtually impossible. So the idea that you just simply play by the rules as if the rules are fair in the first place makes a mockery of history and our current immigration system.
But you know what I say to that, Johnny? I like Ike. That was a saying. I
like
like Ike. That was a saying.
That was
a saying. I like Ike. Remember? You see, when I say it, it'll ring a bell. I like Ike. Remember that? People said that. That was the thing people said. I like Ike. I keep saying it. You hear it. You go, yes, I've heard that. I like Ike. That's a saying. That is a saying. I like Ike. I liked him. Not I liked him, but I like him. That's a saying.
God.
God, no one has had more fun in this debate than we did.